give a little bit of a talk around soul victory, because many of us face ego resistance on a daily level, and it can be absolutely potent. Some of the vile, cruel things that my ego says about me used to really hold me back in my life. It used to be the one thing that caused me to drop my intentions, falter from my plans, and bail on some of my biggest dreams, because I hate the tension that it creates inside of us when I want to do something that I've never done before, and my ego starts catastrophizing, worst case scenario, and starts projecting out all the things that are going to happen to me if I do this based on my past trauma. Now, if this is sounding anything familiar to what you're doing, hello, my name is Lysa Black. I'm a healer and a mentor for gifted business leaders, people who truly want to use business as a vehicle to fulfill their purpose. And one of the things that I've found is that every new manifestation and I guess thing that I'm creating that really brings beauty and wonder and magic into my life is always stepping outside of the norm of what I have known. And the key is to recognize that every time our soul calls us into a path that we are unfamiliar with, that is actually the very thing that's going to bring and attract a new manifestation. So I want to talk about what I do to be able to really help myself to get some soul strength, some really wonderful grounding, because ego resistance never stops coming up in my life, but how I respond to it has completely changed. Some people say that ego resistance doesn't feel like opposition to them. It always has for me. I think that's a byproduct of the trauma that I have been through and some of the strong opposition that I've faced in my own life. My ego opposes me, and if this is happening to you, then this is relevant for you. What I do is get front and center with my ego, and I ask for it to tell me all of the worries, concerns, and things that could go wrong. And I listen and I say, I hear you, ego, saying that if I show up and do this, that people might leave. People leaving is like a huge thing for me that my ego always brings forward that used to get me in the past, and I just compassionately observe. I hear my ego saying, and I don't disagree, I don't argue, I don't fight with my ego. I simply show up and hear. And what happens is that you start to hear a repeat. So I'll be like, ego is saying again that if I live true to who I really am, that everyone will leave. And one of the most interesting things to pay attention to is that nothing new will come forward from your ego. This is literally all old stuff just being rehashed. And what that allows us to do is be consciously aware of it, turn to our higher self, get a second opinion. And what happens is that comparing those two lists of what my ego says is going to happen and what my higher self says is going to happen allows me to discern which I'm going to give power to in my life. I hope that this can support you to get some soul victory, some soul wins. We never want to achieve the dream. We want to become the person that can allow that manifestation in. I have used this in so many ways to attract my husband, my beautiful family, living out in the country rurally, and having a beautiful, fulfilling business that enriches my life and my sacred tribe's lives as well. Thank you for being a part of my channel. If you want to see what I say more specifically around business, love to invite you to Heart and Biz Alignment. Check the details in the description below. This is Empress Lysa, here to say that on this channel we deepen into our truth so we can rise on purpose. Thank you for being here. Mwah.